Officer, teenager and suspect killed in Norfolk shooting. Boy, 17, is fatally shot on his way home from high school graduation in a random shooting spree that also killed one officer, 35, and the suspected shooter, 29. Mark Rodriguez, 17, was shot as he sat inside his vehicle at 11 p.m. on Friday while driving home from his high school graduation. James Brown, 29, started shooting from his Jeep on Chesapeake Boulevard and was later shot and killed by police after a bloody chase. Brown shot and killed Officer Brian Jones, 35, from his home after police recognized Brown's car outside his residence. Brown also shot Officer Curtis Allison, 28, then sped off in his Jeep hitting another vehicle. Once he hit the car he fled the vehicle and started fighting with a third officer who shot him dead. Neighbors say they called Brown Wyatt Earp because he always had a gun on him, but they never expected that he'd actually shoot anyone. A 17-year-old boy who was on his way home from high school graduation was shot and killed in what appeared to be a random shooting spree in Norfolk, Virginia that later prompted death of a police officer and the suspected shooter. Mark Rodriguez, 17, was shot by at least one bullet as he sat inside his vehicle at 11 p.m. on Friday after shooter James Brown, 29, started shooting from his Jeep on Chesapeake Boulevard in a random spree. Officers located Brown's home at the 7400 block of Wellington Road after recognizing his vehicle. ABC 13 reports that once Brown saw officers outside his home he began shooting at them from the doorway with a high-powered rifle. Brown shot both Officer Brian Jones, 35, and Officer Curtis Allison, 28, fatally wounding Jones. Police Chief Michael Goldsmith reported that Jones was shot multiple times by Brown and Allison was shot as he attempted to help Jones. Both officers were rushed to Center and Norfolk General Hospital for gunshot wounds. Jones died at the hospital, but Allison is expected to make a full recovery. After shooting the cops, Brown sped into his driveway as his neighbors including Steve Kopchik and Roberta Howe witnessed him drive off after hearing several gunshots. It was instantaneous, Kopchik told ABC 13. As soon as the dude stopped the vehicle, gunfire started raining down, he said. There was probably 30 to 40 gunshots, there was an awful lot of gunshots. As officers drove to the scene to assist Jones, another officer chased Brown as he drove down East Little Creek Road. Brown hit a car on the road, to the car's owner Tiffany Bottom's dismay. I got up, jumped up, went outside and I looked and I seen the red car. I didn't notice my car was way back there, she said Saturday to ABC 13. I started screaming, my car! My car! My car, she said. Brown fled the vehicle with his gun. An officer then tried to arrest Brown, who tried to fight back and disarm the officer. Brown was eventually shot and killed during a battle with police officers. The police officer tried to subdue the suspect, but the suspect went for his weapon, witness Nick Ortiz said. Ortiz was home with his wife and kids when he heard the car crash and went outside to see what was happening. I started hearing the shots and I told everybody in my house to just get down on the ground, Ortiz said. After the shooting, Chief Goldsmith expressed his condolences to the family and friends of the victims who were killed. After the shooting, Norfolk Police Chief Michael Goldsmith said Rodriguez had just been in the wrong place at the wrong time, reports ABC. My heart goes out to the family, my heart goes out to anybody that worked with him. I'm a cop just like everybody else is. This hurts, when one of us goes, especially in the line of duty like this. It's tough. Jones is survived by his wife, 2 sons, and a daughter. Officer Allison is expected to live and recover fully. He is currently being treated at a local hospital. The Virginia Pilot reported that this is not the first time that Brown has been convicted of a felony. In 2010 he was convicted of assaulting a police officer. In 2012 he was convicted of carrying a loaded gun and spent 1 year in prison. The head of Norfolk Christian Schools said that grief counselors would be available on Sunday to talk to anyone who is suffering. "I have been praying, weeping and trying to process this information for hours," wrote Pat McCarty, the head of Norfolk Christian Schools in a statement following the shooting. "Knowing that Mark's sweet smile is looking at the face of the Savior he loves, knowing that his worship is sweeter than he ever imagined, does not help my heart except that we have lost him for a time." Neighbors say they called Brown Wyatt Earp because he always had a gun on him, but they never expected that he'd actually shoot anyone, reported the Virginia pilot. "He was just as nice and respectful as can be," said Brown's neighbor Roberta Howe. "All I can think is that he snapped. He must have."